The Chosen One's Journey by DragonWolf12. The Pokemon was a silver robotic creature about 2 feet long. At the front was a single eye, and it had 3 golden claws sticking out of its back end. Ash quickly pulled out his Pokédex. "Scan!" he ordered. Beldum, the Iron Ball Pokemon. A Steel and Psychic-type Pokemon, Beldum floats by emitting electromagnetic waves that repel the Earth's magnetic field. They lodge their claws into cliffs where they sleep. Beldum is a genderless species that is only capable of learning Takedown naturally. Note, the unusual coloration of this Pokemon suggests it is a shiny Pokemon. "Hey!" Ash yelled, using his aura to project his voice directly to the Pokemon. "I challenge you to a battle!" Since it was a Steel type, Ash had Charmeleon's Pokeball in hand. The shiny Beldum whipped around when it heard his voice. Apparently, it recognized him, because its eye narrowed, and it rocketed towards him with a takedown attack. "Ash, be careful!" Misty yelled from the sideline. Letting his aura fill his body, Ash spun the other way at the very last moment, while releasing Charmeleon at the same time. "Flamethrower!" he snapped. Beldum whirled around again, already charging a new takedown. As it came speeding towards Ash, Charmeleon jumped out in front of it and unleashed a torrent of flames into its face. "Beldum!" the Pokemon yelled as it was blasted back by the flames. It crashed into a nearby lamppost and knocked it over. "Now get in close and use Metal Claw, followed by Fire Fang!" Ash ordered his fire type. Charmeleon ran forwards, his claws taking on a metallic shine. Just as Beldum started floating back up, Charmeleon was on it. He slashed down with his Metal Claw attack, driving Beldum back to the ground. A moment later, the fire type's mouth erupted into flame, and he bit down on Beldum's torso. The Steel Psychic type yelled in pain as the super effective attack hit it. A moment later, it spun around and started charging a takedown. It slammed into Charmeleon and sent Ash's Pokemon flying across the street. "Charmeleon, no!" Ash yelled as he watched helplessly. Suddenly, a light blue glow enveloped Charmeleon, and he stopped flying. Ash looked around to see a woman with dark blue hair standing at the end of the street. She wore a pink spaghetti-strap tank top that stopped just above her belly button and long white pants. Her eyes were glowing slightly, and her hand was outstretched towards Charmeleon. As Charmeleon floated back down to the ground, her eyes met with his, and he felt a slight pressure on his metal shields, but they held strong. Her eyes widened slightly, and she nodded towards him. "Do what you must, young aura user. I will protect the citizens," a voice echoed in the outskirts of his mind, just on the edge of his shields. A moment later, she released a pair of Mr. Mime from their Pokeballs. They waved their hands and started chanting their name, and a large barrier of psychic energy began to form around the 2 battling Pokemon and Ash. Ash nodded back to her, turning back to the battle. "Charmeleon, use Dragon Rage!" he ordered. Charmeleon nodded and fired a burst of blue flames. The flames took the form of a roaring dragon and bore down on Beldum. Beldum charged another takedown attack and raced right into the Dragon Rage, splitting it in 2. Ash, whose eyes were now glowing blue with aura sight, shouted, "Charmeleon, dodge to the right and use Metal Claw!" Charmeleon leapt to the side and charged up his Metal Claw attack. When Beldum erupted from the Dragon Rage, he flew right past Charmeleon, only to be hit by the Steel attack. The Iron Ball Pokemon was blasted to the side and crashed into the Psychic barrier. "Let's finish this, Charmeleon! Flamethrower!" Ash ordered, an empty Pokeball ready to be thrown. Charmeleon unleashed a powerful flamethrower that enveloped Beldum. He could hear the Pokemon screaming in pain. The moment Charmeleon cut his attack, Ash launched his Pokeball at Beldum. It hit the Pokemon's side, and it was absorbed into the metal sphere. The Pokeball rocked once, twice, 3 times. It suddenly popped back open, and Beldum reappeared, looking angrier than ever. It instantly charged up a takedown and rocketed towards Charmeleon. The Fire-type barely had time to jump out of the way as Beldum flew past. "We have no choice, Charmeleon. Time to use your new move," Ash said telepathically. Charmeleon nodded in understanding. He began focusing his energy, and the flame in his tail started growing larger. At the same time, Ash reached into his backpack and pulled out one of his special balls, an Ultra Ball. Beldum whirled around and came flying back towards Charmeleon, his takedown just as strong as ever. Wait for it. Wait, Ash thought, his eyes never leaving Beldum. At the last moment, Ash shouted, "Now, Inferno!" Charmeleon opened his mouth and unleashed a maelstrom of flames right into Beldam's face. The steel psychic type shrieked in pain from the super effective attack and was blasted back. When Beldam landed, its body was suddenly engulfed in flames as the secondary burn effect took over. "Now is the time! Go, Ultra Ball!" Ash threw the Pokeball at Beldam for a second time. Again, it hit Beldam's side, and the Pokemon was absorbed in a flash of red light. It rocked once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Suddenly, the Pokeball dinged and fell silent, signifying a successful capture. Yes! Ash pumped his fist in the air. Ash's Pokédex dinged. "You have exceeded your carry limit. Please choose which Pokemon to transport." "Pidgeot," Ash said. A moment later, one of the Pokeballs from Ash's belt vanished. Ash walked up to a panting Charmeleon, while Pikachu ran over to pick up the Ultra Ball. "Thank you, Charmeleon. That was an awesome job," he said. "Thanks, Ash," the Flame Pokemon said. "Get some rest now," he said, as he returned Charmeleon to his ball and hooked it to his belt. "Here, Ash," Pikachu said, handing Ash the Ultra Ball. "Thanks, buddy," Ash said to his starter as he took the ball. "What to do with you?" he thought, as he stared at the black and gold ball. Deciding to deal with it later, he clipped the ball to his belt. A moment later, the psychic woman who had helped him earlier walked up to him. The 2 Mr. Mimes were nowhere to be seen, so he assumed that she had returned them already. "Thanks for the help," he said, holding out a hand. "My name is Ash." She studied his hand for a moment before looking back up at him. "I am Sabrina," she said in a cool and controlled voice. Okay," Ash said unsurely, lowering his hand. "Wait, Sabrina, as in Gym Leader Sabrina?" "That's right," she replied. Ash smiled. "Then I challenge you to a gym battle," he said. She looked at him silently for nearly a minute. "Very well," she finally said. "Come to my gym tomorrow at noon. It shall be a 3-on-3 single elimination match." "All right, I'll see you tomorrow," Ash said. She nodded before vanishing in a burst of psychic energy. "That is one creepy lady," Squirtle commented. Everyone burst out laughing.